In February of 2021, a bit of a debate was started in the Dead by Daylight community between two different types of mindsets with two different groups of players. Ottsdarva and True Talent were the representatives of these two groups, Otts representing the kill side of the argument and True representing the hook side. And if this is something you don't understand yet, this is the quick summary of what happened and what led to the debate. Ottsdarva had just started his 50 win streak series, and True Talent didn't agree with it being done because it gave off a false impression that Killer was stronger than it was. True argued that playing for kills was a less than ideal way to play. Otts argued that playing for kills is just as valid as playing for hooks. I don't want to dive into the debate fully because I don't want to turn this entire video into covering a very good debate that's 3 years old. However, if you're interested in listening to it today, it's absolutely worth putting on in the background while you do whatever it is you're doing. With that out of the way, there's been a lot of changes in Dead by Daylight in that time, including the introduction of Nicolas Cage, which I still find pretty funny if I'm being entirely honest. But these days, I can't help but wonder if Dead by Daylight has been pushed closer or further away from one of these playstyles. And to raise the suspense just a little bit more, I will say that I do think that one of these two are being pushed forward by behavior as the stronger option, but I don't know if they mean for that to happen or not. This discussion will cover the basic ideologies behind both of these two versions of playing Killer, as well as give arguments in support of each of them, before I turn it over to the comment section to hear from all of you. I just want to put forward that I do have a preference between the two of them, but for me, it's a game-to-game basis. I have my original goal for a match, but over time, it changes for me if need be. This could depend on the team I'm playing against, the map I'm on, or other circumstances that calls for a change in gameplay. For the purposes of this video though, we'll just try and keep this as a black and white debate between the two different playstyles. But at this point, there's more admin in this than a Kickstarter board game, so let's just cut the explanations and simply get to the video. The first type we'll look at is the kills over hook side. The main way this is played is to simply focus on killing survivors no matter what, proxy camping and tunneling when it needs to be done. The win condition in this situation is simply getting 3 kills before all the generators are complete. This is definitely the more common of the two win conditions that people use, and it's the easier to secure. While this is absolutely an extreme, it's possible to win a match with only 3 chases by playing like this. With the amount of pressure generated by telling a survivor due to their teammates more than likely coming off generators to try and protect them, you can quickly secure wins against teams that are less coordinated or less willing to let a teammate die. While camping has been nerfed quite a bit in the past year or so, it's still extremely strong when used with perks like Grim Embrace, which activates after you walk only a few meters from the hook, Dead Man Switch, Pain Resonance, Deadlock, and so many more slowdown perks to give killers additional time to kill someone out by sitting close to the hook to guarantee either a trade or stopping the unhook altogether. While this strategy will be completely dismantled by a team that will just let one person die, it can be used to destroy more altruistic teams. With that being said though, let's talk about some potential weaknesses. The main one being that if you try and tunnel the wrong person because you mistakenly judge them as a weaker player, you could be taken on a run for 3 minutes while generator after generator pops, leaving you with no hooks on anyone else while on the in-game. It's a bit of a gamble, meaning you have to choose to chase the right person instead of picking someone at the beginning of the match. Perks like Camaraderie, Reassurance, Decisive Strike, Off the Record, Blood Rush, Dead Hard, Made for This, Resurgence, and the new Shoulder the Burden perks can completely destroy you. And something you'll notice is that some of those perks I just mentioned are extremely common to see. Teams that are maybe a bit smarter will let their teammates sit on hook for as long as necessary before they get the save. Perks like the previously mentioned Reassurance will give survivors plenty of time to finish their generator before getting the unhook. However, it is worth saying that Reassurance really isn't that common. If you have a team that is throwing everything they can to try and save the tunneled survivor, you can absolutely destroy that match. If 2 survivors are taking hits for a recently unhooked teammate, only 1 person is on a generator, and you more than likely have survivors now being slugged. It's so much pressure, and can be enough to win a match with this alone. I do think that playing for kills is pretty much just an easier playstyle, and that's why it's been picked up by the majority of the community, which is completely understandable and valid. However though, on the other side of the debate, we have players who focus on getting hooks. The main goal of this playstyle is to get as many hooks as you can in the match, with the ultimate goal being a 12-hook game. If you care about the lore side of the game, this is technically the way the game is meant to be played. Without getting into it a bunch, a 12-hook trial would feed the entity much more than a 4-hook game, but that really has nothing to do with gameplay, so it doesn't matter. I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was kind of funky. The hooks playstyle usually relies on their slowdown perks more than a kills playstyle in my experience. You need the slowdown to help counter the pressure survivors have since the whole team will be alive for longer. You're trying to get as many individual hooks as possible, so you're not incentivized to camp players. Instead, you would hook someone and then immediately go and pressure people off generators. This, in my opinion, takes a lot of game knowledge to consistently pull this off. While it takes good game sense to pick the right survivor to tunnel out, the game sense and confidence to go out of your way to not tunnel and not camp in order to get your 12 hook stages is something I think a lot of players should try and work up to. Again, not trying to say one side of the debate is right or wrong, but I do think it's more interesting to watch someone play this way, but simply just not as strong. 12 hooking a team is an incredibly difficult challenge. I think it's something that would stress out a large part of the community, and that in my opinion is the biggest weakness for this playstyle. It's just simply way more difficult to consistently do it. You can very easily tunnel someone out at 4 gens because you realize they just aren't very good. But trying to hook everyone 3 times without losing all the generators, it is genuinely difficult. And I know this because, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is where I revealed that this is my preferred way to play killer. While it's harder, I find it incredibly satisfying to get a 10 hook plus game, rather than getting 4 individual hooks where everyone just dies on the first hook. It's been harder to do this, however, I do think this playstyle is being slowly promoted more and more by behavior with changes we've seen. 2 of the strongest killer perks in the game, Pain Resonance and Grim Embrace, activate off individual hooks to the 4 survivors. Some of the strongest survivor perks in the game are completely countered by just not being around them when they get unhooked. While Killer is weaker than it was in the Overbrine meta, I do think that overall Killer is an extremely strong spot, where you can play in a more relaxed way and still perform well, barring some circumstances. I do think that while behavior promotes this playstyle, it's just stronger in my opinion to play for kills. Having someone dead at 4 gens and turning the game to a 1v3 is just so strong and impressive that I don't think behavior can do much to change this without completely overhauling aspects of the game. But now, we reveal the 3rd secret playstyle, the one that I end up usually doing. I'm sure a large chunk of you can agree with this too. We have a blend of the 2 playstyles. Allow me to run you down a blueprint of my average match. I load in, try and get as many hooks as I can, but around the 1 to 2 generators left, that's when I switch things up and start securing kills. Having 4 survivors alive at 1 gen left is an extremely rough position to be in, and means you need someone sacrificed fast, and for me, the late game is when that needs to be done. This is one of the things that make Dead by Daylight such a successful game. Wow, that was hard to say. Such a successful game. There we go. You can play 30 plus different characters with a ridiculous amount of perk combinations, add-on combinations, offerings, a random map, and then finally an ever-evolving playstyle for you to go with in your matches. As a player, I think you should be flexible and try to change things depending on what you may need. But hey, at the end of the day, you can make whatever choice is better for you. With all that being said, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you prefer playing for kills or hooks? Or do you try and blend them based on how the match is going? If you enjoyed the video, please do consider liking it. It helps me out quite a bit. If you're interested in me and my content, do consider subscribing. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I upload multiple times a week, so it's consistent content. I'm trying to think of a good reward for becoming a channel member, so stay tuned for that. If you would like to come hang out with me, the link to the community Discord is in the description, as well as the link to the Twitch channel where I stream every weekday in the morning. Currently though, I'm taking a break until December, but still follow me if you'd want to hang out when I start up again. But with all that out of the way, my name is Kassir, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye bye.